5 weeks ago, this was an afterthought, but the Denver Broncos have made the playoffs. We're headed to Indianapolis to face off against the AFC South champion Colts here in the Wildcard round. At one point this season, we were 5-7. We had lost 5 games in a row. We were as low as, I believe, the 14th seed in the AFC. But we have been climbing and climbing and climbing since our bye week, and we have scratched and clawed our way into the playoffs. But now the real challenge arrives. The Colts are a true Super Bowl contender at 12-5 and are looking for revenge after we knocked them out just last year. Nonetheless, it's been an incredible journey for this team who started 5-2. It looked like it was going to be another great season for us. And then we had our losing streak. Ever since the bye, we've played great football, winning 5 games in a row, including 4 games by multiple possessions. The only close game in this group was last week against the Raiders. We trailed going into the fourth quarter, but we battled back. Wasn't a perfect game from Bo Nix and company, but we found a way to win. We didn't even show the Week 18 results in the last episode. I wanted to keep it suspenseful who we would be playing against in the first round. But it is worth noting that both the Chargers and the Texans won. We would have only needed one of those teams to win and a Broncos loss to be eliminated from the playoffs. Avery Johnson, Riley Leonard, Vita Vea, and Junior Colson win the Players of the Week. I think Avery Johnson started the game off like 2 for 9, so I'm surprised he ended up winning it. Those are your matchups in the first round, and here's a look at the standings across the entirety of the NFL. The AFC was ultra competitive this year. The Steelers won the North. Bengals nearly made the playoffs. And then the Ravens, they lost 5 in a row, but things would have been different had Lamar Jackson stayed healthy. The Colts won the South with the Jaguars making a wild card spot at 10-7. We hit the head-to-head tiebreaker over Houston, as did Jacksonville, the biggest reason why Houston's out. The Bills, 16-1, 11 wins in a row. They're the favorites to go all the way. And then the New York Jets with Jalen Milroe making the playoffs. And then in the AFC West, not many teams are playing better football than the Kansas City Chiefs. They won the division. We make it in as a wild card over the Los Angeles Chargers, who did sweep us. The NFC was the worst of the two conferences. I feel like with every series we do, we end up in the better conference. I don't know why. But the Bears win the North. The Falcons win the South. Dallas wins the East. The Eagles and Giants make the playoffs. And then in the West, 13-4, number 1 seed Los Angeles Rams, while Avery Johnson, the rookie, leads Seattle to a wild card spot. Before we look at our matchup against the Colts, we do have to go through our studs and duds of the year, as voted on by you guys in the last episode. Keep in mind, this is an expectations-based award. It's not necessarily our 3 best and 3 worst players, but more so, who rose to the occasion, who was able to face adversity, and vice versa, who didn't. There were certainly a lot of candidates for both awards. We had plenty of talent on the offensive side of the ball. Bo Nix, Ashton Jeanty, all performing. The receiver room was banged up. Marvin Mims and Tez Johnson have both missed quite a few games. We have not had a game with both of those guys play fully healthy start to finish since week 1. The offensive line had its ups and downs, as did the defense. But both sides of the ball obviously made plays when they needed to over the last few weeks of the year. So we'll start with our stud of the year. I expected this vote to be a blowout, and it was. Jeffrey Bassa ends up winning pretty convincingly, dominating the other finalists. And this really was not a surprise to me. I figured this was going to happen. What a season for Jeff Bassa, who was one of the best linebackers in the NFL. And to be an elite linebacker in this league, you got to be able to do it all. Cover, stop the run, blitz, and that's exactly what Jeffrey Bassa is all about. Led the NFL in tackles this year with 163. Maybe we shouldn't be that surprised, though. In half the snaps that he played last year, he had around half as many tackles, but pretty much an equal amount of TFLs and sacks. So maybe he's always just been this good and was able to be propped up on a higher pedestal given more playing time. Nonetheless, he will go up by 3, and he now has superstar development. As for second place, it ends up being Baron Browning, who had an interesting season given that he missed some time with injury. His numbers were certainly good, there's no doubt about it. But at first glance, do they scream stud of the year candidate? Well, in my opinion, they do, because I don't think the numbers, which are already quite good, 9.5 sacks, a career high, but I don't think the numbers tell the full story. If we look at the games he missed this year, our pass rush was non-existent. Compare that to Nick Bonito, who had a strong season of his own, but most of his sacks came within a 4-game sample. Baron Browning was more consistent throughout the year, and I think he was more valuable. So he will go up by 2. He is now an 87 overall. He was a stud of the year candidate back in season number 1, so he's been propped up a couple times now. Meanwhile, Tez Johnson ends up in 3rd place, and it's certainly interesting with Tez because, as I mentioned earlier, he missed quite a bit of time early in the season, and when he came back, that's when Marvin Mims got injured. We needed someone to step up as the wide receiver 1, and he did that. His numbers aren't necessarily spectacular, less catches, yards, and touchdowns than last year. But after Mims went down, we needed a consistent number 1 option in the passing game. I was worried we did not have that on the roster, but Tez Johnson was able to provide that, and thus we didn't miss Marvin Mims quite as much as I thought we would. I really felt like he was the most valuable player on the offense, and maybe that's still true, but certainly not to the extent that I thought prior to his injury. So Tez will go up by 1, counting the morale boost. He is now an 81 overall. And that brings us to our Dud of the Year race. Like the Stud of the Year vote, I predicted it would be a blowout, and again, I ended up being correct. The loser, by a very wide margin, is left tackle Andrew Thomas. What a disastrous trade this has been so far. We gave up a first-round pick for him, and the guy the Giants drafted, offensive tackle Jonah Savanaia, finished in 4th for the NFC's best offensive lineman. So we acquired a far more expensive player, a far older player, which is what we expected, but also a far worse player than Jonah Savanaia, which is not what we signed up for at all. Unfortunately, the warning signs were all there and we just missed them. Thomas has missed 10 games over the last 2 years. His production with the Giants was spotty at best. We trade for him and he wasn't good. I will say our offensive line was at its best during our 5-game win streak at the end of the year, largely because Thomas was unavailable. Missed time in the first matchup against the Raiders. Missed time in the game against the Texans. Didn't play at all versus the Dolphins. Our line was at its best when he was not on the field. So his rating will go down by 3. His development will go down to star. On paper, he is still a really good player, but we are stuck with this contract for the next 3 years. Now, since the Giants are paying the bonus, we could theoretically trade him away, but his value has gone down significantly. How much would we get in return for him? Maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick? It would be honestly worth it just to stick it out and see if we can get that all-pro caliber player back. Jonathan Cooper ends up in 2nd place. He was a stud of the year candidate just a season ago, but his production went down this year despite playing more snaps. He finished with half as many sacks and way less tackles. So as a result, he will go down by 2. Certainly not worth the price that we paid him this offseason with a 2-year extension. I was hoping for more, and he was a big reason why our pass rush was so good last season, but also a big reason why our pass rush was inconsistent this year. So he's now a 77 overall, and at 28 years old, you figure that regression may continue. As for 3rd place, that ends up being Troy Franklin, and this is a weird one because, for one thing, I love me some Troy Franklin, but I think he is a talented player. It's just a matter of consistency with him. Unlike Marvin Mims and Tez Johnson, he had been healthy throughout the entire duration of the season, yet it never felt like he's been able to break through. The flashes really haven't been there. Combine that with a lack of consistency, and you get a below-average starting-level receiver. It's unfortunate because he had equal production as a rookie when he played way less snaps. He also has equal production to Chris Brazzell, who's used as a rotational receiver. Nonetheless, Franklin's still 23 years old. There's still a lot of time to right the ship, but I don't think it's fair that he was rated higher than Tez Johnson, for instance, when Tez has clearly been the better player over the last 2 seasons. Troy Franklin is an 80. Again, still a really good long-term piece in my opinion, but we're waiting for him to really break out, and it was year 3. It was supposed to happen. But unfortunately not quite, as we get set now for our matchup against the Indianapolis Colts, one of the best all-around teams in the NFL, as we talk to our offensive coordinator, talking about our preseason goal of running for 1,500 yards as a team, which we did. So that's going to give our team a morale boost. I feel like winning 5 games in a row and making the playoffs should give us a bigger morale boost, but that is neither here nor there, I guess. We also have a new message here with our defensive coordinator. His job was on the line after our bye week, so give him credit, but we've got a game plan around. I would assume this is DeForest Buckner because he's quite good. I don't know why we would be talking to our defensive coordinator about DeForest Buckner. That's not really his problem, but okay. Looking at his matchup with the center Gus Hartwig, I'm a little bit more concerned about what Buckner could do in the run game. So we're going to give Gus Hartwig an increase in run block power for today's game. Buckner, one of the many notable faces this team has on the defensive side of the ball. And as we look at their team stats this year, it's easy to see that this team has a lot of strengths and they don't really have any weaknesses. Again, second place in the AFC in a loaded division where all 4 teams were solid. The number 6 scoring offense, the number 7 scoring defense, top 5 in rushing yards per game, second in opposing passing yards per game. It's been an up and down season for the Colts, who, like us, started high, 4-1. But then they lost 3 in a row, and it looked like they were trending towards mediocrity. Since then, they've played some outstanding football. They won 8 games in a row. They've scored at least 28 points in all but 2 games since their win streak started in Week 9. They did lose their last game against Houston, but they didn't have much to play for. Had they won, they would have been the 2 seed anyway. A big reason why the Colts have become good is the development of Anthony Richardson. His game has completely changed. Short accuracy, 99. Medium accuracy, 99. He's one of the most accurate and efficient quarterbacks in the NFL. But you combine that with the big playability he has as a passer and a runner, and that makes one of the scariest specimens at the position in the league. He's going to be making a whole lot of money pretty soon. They've got a good group of guys around him. Jonathan Taylor in his 7th season. He's not a spring chicken, but he is still a stud. Josh Downs and Adonai Mitchell lead the receiving core. And then defensively, they've got a lot of really solid pieces. Young guys like Laiatu Latu and Jahdae Barron have really developed. They've got a good offensive line. Quentin Nelson leads the way. First-round rookie Jalen Rivers out of the University of Miami. It should be a fun one here in Lucas Oil Stadium. If the Colts win, they will face off against the highest-seeded team left. If we win, we already know what would happen since we are the lowest team in the AFC. We'd be headed to Buffalo to face off against the 16-1 Bills coming off a first-round bye and an 11-game win streak prior to that. There's a whole lot at stake today, but I think for the Colts, there's an extra chip on their shoulder. Let's go back to Week 18 last year. We played against Indianapolis in this building. The winner would advance to the playoffs, and the loser would be eliminated. It was basically a de facto playoff game at the end of the regular season. We ended up winning in a thriller. So we knocked out Indianapolis last year, and I imagine they're not going to let us knock them out again, at least easily, as we're going to start with the ball. The Wildcard round is underway. Tez Johnson on the return brings it to the 26, and we will take a look at Bo Nix and the offense. Overall, I think it was a pretty strong third season for Bo Nix. 4,300 yards, 28 passing touchdowns to go along with 9 on the ground. It wasn't perfect. He's not some superstar, unlike Anthony Richardson, but given the inconsistencies of the guys around him, I think he's had a pretty good season, all things considered. First play here for the 26. Nix looks to throw it under pressure. That ball's out! Still on the ground! And eventually scooped up by the offense! Bo Nix recovers his own fumble. Elijah Roberts, the young pass rusher out of SMU, is the one with the force. We talked about the matchup with their interior defensive line against our center and guards, and the Colts are looking to exploit it early. Nix fumbles the first play of the game. He does a good job recovering it. Indy had multiple chances to pick up that football. They completely fumbled that opportunity, pun intended. 2nd and 20, Cooper Kupp with it. Very experienced player in the playoffs as he gets 12. That'll make up the yardage from the sack, and now we are looking at a 3rd and 8. Whaley, the running back in the backfield. Nix looks to throw it up the middle. He's got his man, Tez Johnson, to the 44. Good job there by Bo Nix. He knew Tez was going to be open. He was patient, went through his progressions, and made the throw. And the strip sack proves to not really be a big deal. 3rd and 5. Genty gets around 3. Stopped on the play by Zaire Franklin. So an interesting start from the Broncos. First set of downs, pass, pass, pass. Second set of downs, run, run, run. I decided to run on 3rd and 5 because I figured unless we lose yardage, that'll put us in a 4th and manageable, and that's what we're going to do. 4th and 2. Nick's under pressure. Nobody's open, and he is sacked on the play. DeForest Buckner was there, along with Laiatu Latu. The Colts get the stop, and they'll get the ball back on offense. 2 early sacks by Indy. This one a little bit more impactful as the Colts will take over with possession past the 50. Great starting field position for Anthony Richardson and company, looking to strike first early in this ball game here in the AFC Wildcard round. Colts looking for another home playoff game next week. They can get it with a win today. 2nd and 7 up the middle. Adonai Mitchell inside the 20, gets by Surtain and is wrapped up by the rookie Colin Wright. A gain of 27 on the play as Jonathan Cooper is banged up. A nice job there by Mitchell and a poor display of tackling in the secondary there by the Broncos. Following play, Richardson looks to throw it back in the end zone. It's caught! Josh Downs with the touchdown, and Indy strikes first. So Jeffrey Bassa was in zone right there. The second that Bassa takes a step up, Richardson knows he can make the throw. Bassa goes in because he assumes Colin Wright will take over responsibilities of covering the area where Josh Downs was. The booth is going to review it. I think he was in, and I'm actually not so sure what they're reviewing, whether he dragged the feet in or whether he had possession of the football. As you'll see here, his hand makes contact with the ground, but the ball is never jarred out, so this play will stand. It is a touchdown. Not a particularly good opening 5 minutes for Denver. As they turn it over on downs, Colts move right down the field, and it's 7-0. 2nd and 6 at the 31. Here is Bo Nix looking short. He's got Tez Johnson. Outruns Brents and is wrapped up past the 50. A quick start for Tez Johnson. He's had a couple nice early catches. Looking to get him involved early as the unofficial wide receiver 1 until Marvin Mims comes back. If we win today, it's likely that Mims would return for the divisional round. But obviously, we've got to win this game. Genty to the outside. Looks to ram through the defender as Ashton Genty gets the first down. He, of course, did not play in our 2 playoff games last year. He was still injured with the torn pectoral. From the 26, here is Bo Nix. Up the middle with a strike for the rookie. Harold Fannin gains 20, and the former Bowling Green Falcon gets it inside the 10 to the 6. A really nice response here by Denver to march down the field, but we've got to punch it in. 3rd and goal. Nix has nobody open, scrambles around, hoping to get something out of nothing with his legs, and whoa, where is he going? I'll be completely honest, I thought Troy Franklin was triangle. Franklin was in the top right corner of the end zone. That is not what I wanted to do with that pass, I promise. Nonetheless, Denver's going to bring out the field goal team. Will Lutz from 22, his kick is good. Still feels disappointing that we couldn't capitalize in the red zone. A big reason why we've won 5 games in a row has been our play in the red zone on both sides. However, today, the Colts 1 for 1 with a touchdown while we only have a field goal. Whoa, big hit on 3rd and 4 by Colin Wright. It's only a gain of 2 for Jawan Johnson, and the rookie, who's been red hot over the last few weeks, gets a big stop. Denver back with it. Genty on the reception to the outside, gets the first down and runs through another defender. Genty doesn't always play on 3rd downs, but it's not because he isn't capable as a pass catcher. One of the better receiving backs in the league. Following play, Nixon empty, goes downfield, it's caught! The rookie, Chris Brazzell, inside the 30 to the 29. Brazzell's been our big play threat as of recent, and sure enough, he gets another one. That'll wrap up what has been an exciting first quarter so far here at Lucas Oil. The first 5 minutes did not go our way. We nearly fumbled it on the first play of the game, still turned it over on downs, and the Colts then scored a touchdown. But we've done a good job of responding since with a strong field goal drive, a 3-and-out defensively, and now the offense with good field position to open up the second quarter. We've got it inside the 30 at the 29. First play up the quarter. Genty up the middle has plenty of room. I don't know why he juked in, but he got the first down anyway. It's all good. A gain of 11 for Ashton Genty. 2nd and inches now at the 8. Broncos looking to take their first lead of the game. Next, short throw. Genty has open space, and he fumbles it! Thank God the ball went out of bounds. Juju Brents punches it out like Darius Leonard would do, the former Colt linebacker. Thank God the ball rolled out of bounds. It's on 1st and goal. We're going to give it right back to Genty, and he rams his way in for a touchdown, and the Denver Broncos take the lead despite the close call there. We don't fumble the ball that often, but we've coughed it up twice in this game. The nerves are clearly there, and we are lucky to have recovered, well, one of the fumbles, and then the other fumble was kind of recovered by us. Anyway, not the point. It's 10-7. 3rd and 6. Taylor does not get the first down as the contact led by Riley Moss forces him out of bounds. Another 3 and out for the Colts. Our defense is starting to look quite good. Denver back with it on offense. Play action. Nix on the run. He's got Tez Johnson for a gain of 15. A busy start here for Tez. Him and stepbrother are looking good here in the first half. Following play under 7 to go. It's a blitz. Nix knows he has to get it out quickly, and he's got Genty with a great block from Tez Johnson. Well, it was a great attempted block, and then the defender kind of won the rep, but a big play after the catch for Genty to the 37. Now 2nd and 8. Nix scrambles, steps up in the pocket, has room, and he gets the first down. Wrapped up by the rookie out of Oklahoma, Jaren Kanak. I don't really know how he turned that one into a first down, but hey, we will take it. 2nd and 5, halfway through the quarter. Nix under a lot of pressure. Hit as he throws. He's got his man, Cooper Kupp, into the end zone for a touchdown. 17 consecutive points for the Denver Broncos. The offense is really starting to click here against one of the better defenses in the NFL. The Colts 2nd in passing yards allowed per game, and they are being dotted up by Bo Nix. 3rd and 1. Taylor loses a yard, wrapped up by Baron Browning. 3 consecutive drives without a first down for Indy. This is getting ugly fast. Bo Nix is 12 for 15. He has over 200 yards. The Colts are one of the hottest teams in the NFL, but they have really struggled since halfway through the first quarter. Nix evades the pressure, but still only gets 3, wrapped up by Jaren Kanak. The Colts finally get a stop. They'll have an opportunity to do some damage. 41 seconds, though. They don't have much time. As on 2nd and 11, short throw is caught. Adonai Mitchell, wrapped up out of bounds by Colin Wright. He gets the first down, and the third-year wideout from Texas by way of Georgia stops the clock. Down to 33 seconds, 2nd and 10. Here's Anthony Richardson under pressure and is sacked by Baron Browning. Jordan Davis was there as well. The penalty is on the offense. They'll call it a hold, and I think we're going to decline it. I would rather have the down than the 7 yards. Better chance of getting the ball quicker here because the defense only needs 1 stop. 3rd and 13, play action. Richardson steps up. He's got room, and Anthony Richardson scrambles for the first down nearing the 50. The Colts are going to have to use a timeout, though, and they are out. So how are they going to navigate this here with the clock? Not much time left in this first half, only around 20 seconds. As Richardson is brought down by Nick Benito, they're going to hurry back to the line, and they're going to have enough time for one more play. 2nd and 16. Richardson has time, sails it up for the end zone, and it is broken up by the rookie out of Kansas, Javon McIntyre. That'll wrap up the first half. Got to feel really good with how the Broncos are playing right now. We lead at 17-7 over Indianapolis. The game certainly did not start off great with the fumble, the 4th down fail, and then the Colts marching down the field for a touchdown. But since then, we have been dominant. Bo Nix is wheeling and dealing right now, and the Colts have not had an answer for him. 14 of 18, 215 and a score. Ashton Genty's been good. Tez Johnson with 62 yards. Cooper Kupp with 40. Genty, meanwhile, has 92 from scrimmage. Anthony Richardson has been efficient, though, 12 of 14, but only 83 yards. I think on offense, I want to focus on the run game. We've ran it pretty well. Genty's had some good runs, but I want the blocking to be more consistent. And then defensively, the Colts are trying to get everything short. No wonder Anthony Richardson completed 75% of his passes this year. The Colts have been efficient through the air, but Richardson's only averaging 6 yards per attempt. Bo Nix is averaging 12. So Indy has it back from the 41. That one is caught. Broken tackle for Johnson. Outruns right, and there he goes. Breaks the tackle from Bassa, and is finally wrapped up by Drew Sanders. That play could have been a loss of yardage, but instead it is a huge gain for Indianapolis. Unacceptable tackling there by the Broncos. Play action. Richardson, it is caught by Josh Downs to the 22. Downs is one of the best receivers in the league. Had the touchdown earlier, but for the most part it's been pretty quiet as he's taken a trip into Sertan Island. 3rd and 3, that one is caught, but just not enough for the first down. Great tackle by Riley Moss. Josh Downs banged up on the play. That's not good news for the Colts. And they've got a decision to make. 4th and 1. When you're this close, I think you got to go for it. And Coach Steichen will keep his guys on the field. They will go for it. Richardson, short throw. Johnson drops it. Drew Sanders with the hit. Jarring it out. Jeffrey Bassa was slow to react in coverage, but Sanders with the hit on Jawan Johnson. Denver has it back. 3rd and 10. They're going to go for a screen here. Genty breaks the tackle, but he's only going to get around 4. He had 4 blockers in front of them, yet none of them blocked the initial defender. Colts get it back with good field position. They started the drive at the 50. Now from the opposing 40. Taylor on 3rd and inches breaks away from Bassa and is wrapped up by Drew Sanders. As good as Jeffrey Bassa has been this year, I don't think he's played a very good game today. Drew Sanders, meanwhile, the impending free agent, has been fantastic. 2nd and 10. Richardson under pressure. He is wrapped up. B.J. Ojolari and Jordan Davis are there with half a sack each. Both of those guys playing really strong games today. Our rotational pass rushers have been highly productive, and there's another sack. There's the big play from Bassa. He comes in off the blitz, knocking the Colts out of field goal range. It's inexcusable for the Colts that their last 2 drives ended with 0 points, but they missed a 4th down conversion. They allow a pair of sacks, and the punt wasn't even good. It goes out of bounds at the 25. We've got a chance to shut the door on this game at some point, but the offense is slowing down. We're looking at a 3rd and 16 now. Nix rolls out under pressure, and he is sacked. Jaron Koenig, the rookie picked in the 3rd round, he's having himself a day. Brings down Nix, and the Broncos are going to have to punt it again. Colts back with it, 2 to go in the 3rd. They have to score on this drive. It's now or never, it feels like. They've had so many chances, but Taylor loses 3 on 1st down. Drew Sanders flying around the field. He's been one of the best players so far for either team in this game, as we're now looking at a 3rd and 13. Remember, the Colts started this drive at the opposing 43. With that good of field position, they have to take advantage. Or not! Another sack! Baron Brown and Yannick Benito, the Killer Bees, bring him down. The Colts offensive line is selling. This is like the Andrew Luck days. Denver has it back. 3rd and 4, under a minute left in the 3rd. Nix goes short. It's Franklin. Finally, a 1st down. Our 1st of the quarter. Took long enough, and that'll wrap up the 3rd. 17-7, no score change. Our offense hasn't been able to get anything going here in the 3rd quarter. We had only the 1 1st down just now. The Colts, meanwhile, have had great field position the entire quarter. They've moved the ball at a fairly solid rate. They're just not scoring. And, well, you got to score points to win the game. 3rd and 9, Nick steps up in the pocket, looks to run with it, going to the side, and he gets 8. An impressive play by Nix, but he does not get the 1st down. The Colts are there with the stop, and now it feels like Indy has to score on this possession, and they're starting with worse field position than they've been given recently. Your own 36 is normally a pretty good spot, but they've been unable to do any damage starting past the 50 over their last 2 drives. 2nd and 5, they dart up the middle. Dontavion Wicks to the 42. A nice throw by Richardson. The Colts got to stretch the field more. Anthony Richardson's got the arm talent to get it there. They've got the receivers who can get open past 10, 15 yards. 2nd down, it's a screen, and Taylor loses a couple. Jeffrey Bassa really struggled early in this game, at least for his standards, but it looks like the beast has awoken. Another tackle for loss, and it's 3rd and 10. Richardson looks for the sidelines. Nice catch by Jonathan Taylor. Pretty good coverage by Drew Sanders. It's a gain of 9. 4th and 1. And the Colts are going to kick. You know what? I think this is the right call. I know this is normally against my philosophy, but Indy needs points. 50-yarder is good. That'll make it 17-10. The Colts just had to find a way to score. That's been the boogeyman for them in the second half. Even though they're still down by 7. They got points at the very least, and the deficit is within 1 score. We got to get something here offensively. 1 first down in the second half. We haven't crossed the 50. The Colts defense has really adjusted from the first half to now. Bo Nix up the middle. Nice throw and catch to the 44-yard line. Tez Johnson, he's having himself a game. Following play, got to imagine we're going to start to let this clock burn as well. Genty to the side, loses 3. Zaire Franklin leads the way, and he has some help joining him. It's a loss of 1. 2nd and 11 now for Denver with 6 minutes to go. The Broncos right now in no hurry as Genty maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Nakobe Dean brings him down, and that brings us to the biggest play of the game so far, 3rd and 10. Play clock within 10 seconds, game clock at 5:20. Nix looks to throw it. Under pressure, goes short. Cooper Kupp does not get it. Brings it to the 49. He's wrapped up by Zaire Franklin. We're not going to go for it. It's far too risky. So the Colts will get the ball with a chance to tie the game, but they're starting all the way back at the 14. Richardson runs with it, and he's got the first to open the drive. The Colts offense has been bad with good field position today. So maybe with not good field position, they will change their fortunes. From the 26, Jonathan Taylor to the right side, breaks a tackle, only gets around a yard or 2. So the Colts are not abandoning the run yet, which they probably shouldn't, even though Jonathan Taylor has not had a particularly effective game. 2nd and 8, Richardson under pressure, floats it up, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Juwan Johnson. Good coverage by Marvin Grant. That'll make it a 3rd down and 8. A huge play here for the Indy offense. Richardson looks to throw it. Has all day in the pocket. Has room. And look at all that space. Past the 50. Wrapped up at the 43 by Moss. 5 carries, 61 yards. He's had some good scrambles today. You cannot leave the middle of the field that wide open. Inexcusable. We rushed 4. We sent 7 back. But all 7 were a little too far back. With 3 minutes to go at the 43, good start to the drive for the Colts. Juwan Johnson throws Colin right off his back, breaks away from Surtain, and gets the first down to the 33. Got to do a better job of finishing. The Colts only had 3 points over their last 3 quarters, but the offense looks revigorated and energized. Richardson under pressure, he's sacked! Wow, a huge play for the defense! Baron Browning and B.J. Ojolari are there. Baron Browning has been a game wrecker. We talked about how valuable he's been to this team, and he's showing it right now. Cameron Hayward there as well. 2nd and 21, up the middle. Broken tackle. Breaks another, and he's wrapped up by Savon Revel. 3rd and 6 now at the 28. That's going to bring us to the 2-minute warning. Denver's in the driver's seat, but this game is far from over. The Colts, for the first time in the second half, with the exception of their opening drive, have looked really good, marching it down the field. They started all the way back at the 14, now at the 28. 3rd and 6, Richardson up the middle, it's Adonai Mitchell. He gets 9, and the Colts get the first down, and they're going to call a timeout. I'm surprised they're using it that early, but clearly they're putting all their eggs into this drive. They recognize they have to score here no matter what. They have to score a touchdown to be specific. They're still not going to abandon the run, though. Jonathan Taylor only gets a yard, and that'll make it a 2nd and 9. Now the clock is starting to go down slower. I really don't know why they used the timeout. Richardson rolls out to the left, looking to run with it. Gets by a couple defenders, but is wrapped up by Drew Sanders at the 11. And Indy's going to call out another timeout, surprisingly, as it's 3rd and 2. The Colts down to just 1 timeout. Richardson looks to throw an empty backfield. He's got his man. First down inside the 5 to the 2. Donovan Green, the rookie out of Wake Forest, 25 years old, with a huge reception and a great play after the catch. Now under center. Richardson is sacked! Jordan Davis unblocked into the backfield. What a play by the big fella. The Colts are going to use their last timeout. With 37 seconds left, I think they're going to have more than enough time to run 3 plays here. Season's on the line. Can the defense get a stop and end this game? The defense has been fantastic all night. The pass rush is now at 7 sacks? 2nd and goal. Richardson rolls out, has room, runs, and he's in! The Indianapolis Colts are an extra point away from tying it. An 86-yard, 4.5-minute long drive ends in a touchdown. Their first since halfway through the first quarter. Bossa read the play. He was there to bring him down, but it was just a little too late. A great scramble by Richardson and a good drive despite taking multiple sacks. They've got to make the extra point, though, to tie it. With 32 seconds left, the kick is up, and it is good. I decided not to use a timeout there to ice the kicker. We might need these timeouts. I want to hold on to them. So what's the game plan here with 28 seconds? Given the offense's struggles in the second half, we haven't gotten it past the 50 once. I think it makes sense to chew clock. Don't do anything stupid and let this game go into overtime. Psych! Play action! Tez Johnson, wide open, down the field! He's got it! Inside the 20 to the 18! Bo Nix launches a moon ball. Was he inbounds? It looks like he was. We're going to call a timeout with 18 seconds left. The Colts assumed we were going to chew clock. I wanted to make it look like we were going to run the ball, so I went 12 personnel. I saw the strong safety coming in, and I figured Tez Johnson's going to win his rep. Genty gets it on first down. Inside the 5, trucks the defender, and he's in for a touchdown. A 2-play drive. The Broncos take the lead. What a way to potentially end this game. The offense was non-existent in the second half. Again, we didn't get it past the 50 once, but we throw the Colts off. We go for the long ball, and then with 18 seconds left, just trying to run the ball, put ourselves closer to field goal range, not do anything stupid. Ashton Genty punches it in himself. That works too. And now the Colts have it with enough time for 1 or 2 more plays. Richardson looks to throw it. He's got to get rid of it. Nick Benito nearly ended the game with a sack. And it'll come down to this. 2nd and 10 at the 26. It's Hail Mary time or pitchy woo woo. The Colts, if anyone's going to get it there, it would be Anthony Richardson. Lobs it up deep down the field, and it is caught. Donovan Green is tackled at the 11, and the Broncos will hang on to win it. We're headed to Buffalo for the divisional round. 24-17, a thrilling end to this football game. Both offenses were ice cold, but the Colts with a long 86-yard drive to tie it, and it didn't matter. We get the ball back and we score within 2 plays. A nearly 60-yarder for Tez Johnson, followed by the touchdown by Genty. The Colts nearly connect on the Hail Mary. It was caught, but 11 yards shy of the end zone. The Denver Broncos continue the win streak. That's 6 in a row. And now we're going to get ready for our biggest test yet. What a game, though. Defensively, both teams were really stout. Night and day from the first half to the second half for Indianapolis on that side of the ball. As for us, we allowed 10 points in the fourth. You can say we kind of choked, but the defense was really good from start to finish. Bo Nix played a good game, though. I don't think it's necessarily his fault the offense struggled in the second half. I think it was everybody just not performing up to standard, but it didn't matter. We gave ourselves enough of a lead in the first half, and that cushion was enough to propel us to that final drive. Anthony Richardson completed 77% of his passes, but it felt like he was too conservative most of the game. The Colts opened the playbook in the fourth quarter, and it worked. I don't know why they didn't do that earlier. Genty with a strong game on the ground, including the game winner. Jonathan Taylor, meanwhile, just 3.2 yards per carry, although Richardson was very effective as a runner. Tez Johnson, hello! 7 for 136, including the 58-yarder at the end to set up the win. Again, once I saw the safety was going to go towards the backfield, match up with one of the tight ends and try to stop the run, I figured with Tez Johnson's speed, he's getting open. And he did exactly that. Not the only Duck with the last name Johnson to be productive. Juwan Johnson with 7 catches. I thought Cooper Kupp played well for us. Genty with 6 receptions through the air. Not a perfect game for the offensive line, but it was better than the Colts. Andrew Thomas also played a good game as well. Defensively, Drew Sanders flying around the field. Jeffrey Bossa, slow start, great second half. Baron Brown in 4 TFLs and 2 sacks. He wrecked the game. He had the first-round rookie Jalen Rivers in hell, but he was not the only guy. We finished with 7 sacks. The pass rush and the defensive line won us the game today. This is our team's identity, getting after the quarterback, and we were able to do that against Anthony Richardson. Couple new injuries, though. Torn labrum for Ben Powers, abdominal tear for Omar Norman Lott, But we do have some good news on the injury front. Marvin Mims is back. When he broke his collarbone in week 12, I figured, that's it. Season's over. But he's coming back. Now, it's interesting that he suffered the injury against the Chargers. Since Marvin Mims got injured, we haven't lost. I figured the offense would be worse without him. That hasn't been the case. It's not his fault, and I'm excited to have him back, but a little ironic. It was the week of the Wildcards, I think. Now, I can't say that about the Giants. They got blown out by Dallas. The Chiefs beat Jacksonville, but then Philadelphia beats Atlanta. The Jets beat Pittsburgh, shout out Jalen Milroe. And Seattle beats the Bears. No shout out to Avery Johnson. Players of the week, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, Anthony Richardson, surprisingly. I mean, he wasn't bad, but I don't really think he deserved it. And then Foye Oluokun. No surprises this week. We know where we're going. The Bills are the best team in the league. Look at their team stats. They're top 4 in everything but 1. That's pretty damn good. We played against the Bills earlier in the year and lost at home. And we're certainly hoping that we don't have the same fortunes here today. The Broncos have won 6 in a row, but the Bills have won 11 straight and are coming off a bye. They're looking for revenge as well. We beat them in the playoffs last year, and I think it should be a pretty fun battle. Hope everyone enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.